So good morning everyone. Welcome to our channel Soil Logics. In the last video, we have discussed about statements and assumptions, wherein we learned what is a statement and types of the statement and its assumptions and types of the assumptions, and also we learned in which cases we declare the given assumption is invalid. So if anybody are new to this video, so please watch the part number 1 which was completed and uploaded yesterday, which I will keep it in the end card so that you will get a good idea about this particular topic. So let us not waste time and let us start our video from where we left in the last session. In the last session, we have discussed regarding assumptions which are to be treated as invalid, and now we will discuss the remaining part of the introduction, that is in which cases we treat assumption as valid. So this is very important, and after completion of this we will start practicing the questions which were asked in the earlier examinations. So that video will follow this video. Let us start. So now, in what cases we call an assumption is valid? Number one is implication. So before going to the subject, I once again like to inform you that this chapter is totally based on advertisements and notices. So I request one and all to watch advertisements regularly and try to understand the concept, what they want to convey to the viewer. So let us start our next part, that is in what cases we need to call an assumption is valid. Number one, it is when the given assumption is the implication of a statement. So what does implication means? Implication is nothing but the inner meaning of the statement, which will be based on the statement only. But in the last class we discussed conversion and upversion are two things which are based on the statement. So we have stated that those two are invalid assumptions. Whereas in the case of implication, though implication is the inner meaning of the statement and completely depends on the statement, we need to treat it as valid assumption. The reason is very simple, because just because of the implication, the statement, the remaining part of the statement is available. Otherwise, there is no value for the remaining part of the statement after implication. So that is the reason why we need to say that implication is valid. So let us see an example so that you can very clearly understand what is an implication. So here, an implication of a statement can be termed as valid assumption. An assumption is something which is implied and it is slightly different from implication. So implication means the hidden meaning of the statement, and implication is something which is derived from, therefore based upon the statement. Whereas assumption is something on which the statement is based. Of course, statement is based on assumption and implication is based on statement. But still, we need to treat implication as a valid assumption because the total statement is dependent on implication. So that is what is the theme of this implication. Now let us see an example. See, already in the last session we have taken a small example. The same I would like to quote here. So the statement is, so as to bring a company into profits, we need to recruit a foreign trained person. So what was the inner meaning that we have discussed yesterday? So as to bring the company into profits, that means the company is running in loss. That is the implication. That is the hidden meaning of the statement. So though it is derived from the statement, we need to treat it as a valid assumption because of the loss that is making by the company, they now decided to recruit a foreign trained personnel. That means the second half of the statement, which relates to the recruitment of foreign trained personnel, is there only because of the implication, that is the company is running in loss. So if the company is in profit, there is no question of recruiting a foreign trained personnel. So that means, though hidden meaning is an implication, it without implication, that means without the hidden meaning, there is no statement. That is the reason why implication is to be treated as a valid assumption. So here one more example is available. Let us discuss about this example also, so that we can have a very clear idea about implication. A statement by a minister: I will not call off the strike until the government ensures a free education to every child, as education is a basic right of every citizen of India. I will not have a blind eye when the basic right is being violated. So the minister is undergoing a strike, and also he threatens the government, as the government is violating the basic right, that is education, to the children. So that means the government is not giving free education to the children. So thereby minister feels that the government is violating the basic right. So he wants the government to give free education. Until the free education is ensured, he is not going to call off the strike. That is the in that way he is threatening the government. So now let us see the assumptions. Number one, education is a basic right. So that is what here implication, because it is what clearly, if you can see the last sentence, I will not have a blind eye when the basic right is being violated. So he tried to tell that, so basic right means education, because he is fighting for free education. So he meant to say education is a basic right. So that is what the hidden meaning of the statement, and that to be called as implication. Since the basic right is violated, he is doing strike. Otherwise, he would not have. So that is the reason why implication has got an important role in the assumptions. Now, second assumption is basic right is being violated. Even that you can see. So I will not have a blind eye when the basic right is being violated. So he is clearly saying the education is the basic right and it is being violated. So that is the reason why he is doing the strike. So both are the implications of the statement, but still without implication there is no existence of the statement. So these implications are to be treated as assumptions. And the final assumption, he threatens the government for free education for every child. Of course, he threatens the government, hoping that, assuming that government will come down and government will provide free education to children. So in this way, we will have all the three assumptions are valid. First two are implications of the statement, and the final one is assumption. So second case is advertisement. That means in questions, most of the questions are based on advertisements only. So advertisement, when a question is based on an advertisement, so how we need to have assumptions in our mind. So let us see. When the statement is in the form of an advertisement, number one, it should have some effect. See, advertisement is not a small issue. When a organization decide to go for advertisement, the particular organization has to spend lakhs of amount. So they are prepared to spend lakhs of amounts because they hope that advertisement will give them some promotion so that they may get some profits. So if they don't deem that, they will not be ready to spend lot of time and money for advertisement. So it should have definitely, it should have some effect. And number two, so it is looked for and expected by the people. So in the last time we have discussed, so this is nothing but anticipation. And the third one is, it may be viewed by everyone. Of course, when an organization ready to spend amount, they may think that my advertisement will reach each and every person of the particular place. And then it may also be assumed that everyone will respond. So they will also assume that, so after seeing my advertisement, everybody will start purchasing my article so that I may get some profit. So that also we need to assume. And finally, the company and organization which has given the advertisement needs to be benefited. So of course, only for benefit only they are willing to spend lots of amount for advertisement. So these are the possible assumptions we have to make when we see a advertisement in the examination. So next will be a public notice. So public notice means a notice issued in the interest of public. When a statement is in the form of a public notice, so who has to give the notice? So that is very important. So it is to be given by the concerned authorities. For example, electricity department cannot give a notice to pay income taxes in time. So that is not their business and they are not supposed to give notices. And the number two is, it is the duty of those who issue it to issue such notice. So it is the duty of the income tax department to issue a notice to the defaulters to pay within the time to avoid further actions. So that is the duty of the department and they have to do the duty. And it will reach everyone. The same thing like advertisement, when a public notice is given, it is assumed that it will be reaching everyone. Say for example, so regarding polio, when the government decides to put polio drops, they will be announcing through some vehicle announcement. They will have a speaker to the vehicle and they will be announcing, no? So they will be announcing to a particular area, but in their point of view, they feel that the announcement will reach each and every person in that particular place. And one more thing you need to remember, when a notice is given by the concerned authorities, the responsibility of fulfilling the notice also vests with the concerned authorities. Say for example, if anything goes wrong, any natural calamity occurs, immediately the concerned minister or concerned chief minister or prime minister will announce compensation to the victims of the calamity. So once it is announced, the responsibility will be held on them that to disperse the compensation irrespective of number of the victims. Next, what is being advised must be beneficial for people. So if you are asking people to come and avail the facility of vaccination, so the vaccination should be beneficial to the people only. If you are asking the people to pay the tax in time to avoid further action, so that should be beneficial to people. Then only the notice has to be given. And next, it may be assumed that everyone will follow the advice. Of course, when a government is giving notice, it has to be assumed that everybody will follow the advice. If not followed, may have adverse effect. Yes, income tax department has given the notice asking the citizens to pay the income tax within time to avoid the further actions. If anybody failed to pay, then definitely income tax will impose certain penalties. So in that way, you need to understand a public notice. And the next thing is official notice. So official notice means it is a order or a circular to the staff of an organization. That means official notice within the office staff only. And the notice will be given by the head of the department. When a notice is given by the head of the department, it has to be assumed that so his subordinates will obey the order and follow the order. And the effect of its implementation will be beneficial for the staff and the organization. So before issuing the order and circular, so the management would have make an assessment whether it is useful to the staff and the department organization or not. Once it is decided that it is useful, then only they will give the order. And if anybody, that means any subordinates are not willing to obey the order, then definitely the management will have no hesitation to take action and punish them accordingly. So that is about official notice. And next one, advice or warning. So first we will give advice to everyone. If they are not listening to us, then sometimes we may tend to give warning also. So whenever you give an advice or a warning, you feel that the fellow who is getting advices and warnings will listen to you. And that fellow will follow according to your warning. So now see what are the assumptions there. It may have some effect, of course. As like advertisement, even advice and warning will have some effect. It may be assumed that everyone will follow and its practice will be beneficial and its non-practice harmful in some way. Yes, when I give an advice to my student, you practice daily so that you will get success in the examination. if the student follows the advice and he do practice, then definitely he will be benefited. If he fails to practice regularly, so definitely he will not going to succeed in the examination. That means if not followed, harm should be done. So harm may be in any way. And finally, it's an appeal. In case of an appeal, the reason for issuing it exists. The reason means assumption, nothing but assumption. Appeal will be a statement and there should be an assumption for appeal. That means there should be a specific reason for issuing it should exist. So there ends the introduction of part 2. In the next video, we will meet again and we will have a practice from some examples, and later on we will do an exclusive video over the latest questions that were asked in the previous examinations. So thank you for watching. So please watch part 1 and part 2 so that you will get a good knowledge of the statements and assumptions. Thank you one and all. Namaste.